Hello, it's Jenny here with my weekly video series called Jenny Lays Down the Law. And this weekly series is all about all the different things you need to know to be able to raise money for your business and do it in a way that really lets you stay true to your values and your goals and not lose control of your business. And we call it Jenny Lays Down the Law because I'm a lawyer. And a lot of my advice is related to the legal aspects of raising money. But actually, today I'm going to share something that's not so much about the legal part. So last time I talked about a certain type of term sheet that you can use to raise money called a revenue-based debt. And, that's just one of many, many kinds of offerings that you can make to investors. So I could talk all day about your term sheet, that piece of paper that explains the details of what it is that you're offering to investors. There's so many creative things that you can offer to investors. But one thing I've found, and you may have experienced this too, is that even when you have a lot of clarity about what you're offering to investors and maybe other aspects of the legal part or the strategy part of raising money, sometimes what really gets in your way is just how the heck do I go out and find investors? And for those of you who know me, I really recommend reaching out to what I call the non-professional investors. So the 99.7% of investors who don't call themselves investors. They're just regular folks out there living their lives, but who are potential investors for you. And so it's like, oh my gosh, like, how do I find them? How do I reach out to them? What do I do to get these investors? So even if you have all your legal stuff in place, you have your term sheet, you have your legal compliance strategy all set up so you're not in danger of breaking the law, sometimes you can get stalled at that point because it's like, oh my God, now how do I do it? Who do I talk to? Where do I go? So, and this is one of the questions that comes up the most often, I would say, for a lot of my clients, because it's a fairly easy process to take care of the legal part, but to actually go out and bring in that money, it's not a question that a lawyer generally is going to be able to help you with. It takes a lot more than just legal documents and knowledge of the law to find investors. So I've been spending a lot of time thinking about, how do I really help people do that part? Because I do, I want to be more than a lawyer. I am a lawyer, but I'm also a coach, a consultant, a strategist, a supporter, an investor. And I have been giving a lot of thought to, how can I really help people raise money from investors and actually go out and find the investors, talk to them, have those investors say yes. So the other day I was thinking, what are really the steps? If I've raised money myself 4 times, and I was like, what would the steps be if I was going to go ahead and do it a fifth time? What would I do? What do I do when I'm getting ready to start reaching out to investors? And believe it or not, I was, as I thought about it, I came up with a 9-step process. So I've now written up, and it's not too different from stuff I've taught in the past, but I've kind of put it together in a different way, just really thinking through, what do I do when I decide it's time to go out and reach out to investors, and how do I help my clients do that? So I put together a 9-step process. So I'm not going to talk about all 9 steps today, but today I thought maybe I would just start by talking about step 1. So when I was thinking about, like, what is the very, very first step that I think is a really good thing to do when I'm getting ready to start raising money? So I have all my legal stuff in place. I have my offering. I have my term sheet. I have my legal compliance strategy. Now it's time to start finding investors and start asking, hey, are you ready to invest? So step 1 is actually getting into the right mindset. Because I was thinking, like, how do I really start? And it really does start with trying to get myself into the mindset that's going to allow me to actually start reaching out to investors. And there's a lot of pieces to that. I'm not going to share all the pieces of that today, but I'm going to share some of the things that I think are really helpful when you're trying to get into the right mindset to really launch into starting to talk to investors. So, first of all, really thinking about, assuming that you do have some people out there who think what you're doing is awesome. And I'm sure you do, because if you didn't, you wouldn't have a successful business or a potentially successful business. You have people out there like customers, potential customers, or existing customers who think what you're doing is awesome. And so there are people out there that are already excited about what you're doing. And so think about those people as potential investors and maybe, put yourself in their shoes, thinking of them not as customers, but as investors. And they may be kind of similar to you. If you're passionate about what you're doing, your customers are probably passionate about a lot of the same things you are. So you may be able to relate a bit to the kinds of things that they think about. And think about what it's like to be an investor these days. So when I say investor, I'm not talking about professional investor. I'm talking about the majority of the population of the United States who has investments. It may be a retirement fund, it may be some mutual fund on the stock market. More than 50% of adults have some kind of an investment. And you may be one of those people that has some of your money invested somewhere. And most of us who are not professional investors, our money is invested on the stock market. Think about how you feel about your investments. Are you happy with it? Probably not. Most people are very frustrated with where their money is invested for many, many reasons. One is it's like a crazy casino. It's completely opaque. It does crazy things. Most of the trades that are done on Wall Street are done by algorithms and not human beings. It's very stressful. Today we had a huge drop in the stock market. Tomorrow it may go up again, or maybe tomorrow it's going to go way down. We have no idea. It's kind of like putting your money on a roller coaster ride and hoping it comes out okay. So that's really scary. Also, a majority of investors really care about using their money in a way that's benefiting the world. And many people feel concerned that even if they're invested in a quote unquote socially responsible fund on Wall Street, that really it's not truly reflecting their values and their money is not really helping to create the things in the world that they want to see. So, those are just a few reasons why investors are very frustrated and looking for alternatives. So the first mindset thing I want you to think about is there are people out there that are looking for exactly what you're offering. They're looking for the opportunity to invest in a business they care about. So keep that in mind. Investors are looking for you. So that's one piece of the mindset that you need to really keep reminding yourself of that. And it's not that hard to remind yourself of that. All you have to do is remember how you feel when you think about that money that you have invested on Wall Street and how it makes you feel. I'm guessing, you're not thrilled. Okay, a second thing to think about with mindset, and a lot of these are ones that I had to come up with for myself because I noticed certain thoughts that come up in my head when I'm thinking about like, okay, I'm going to go out and start talking to investors. And this doesn't happen to everyone, but some of us, depending on how we were raised, you may have a bit of a scarcity mindset. Like when you think about the potential investors that are out there to invest in your business, you might think like, I don't really know anyone. There's really, the people I know don't have any money. I don't know. So many people are looking for investment. I don't know why would I get investment? And so one thing to just really focus on is the abundance of investment capital that is out there. It's a huge amount of money, tens of trillions of dollars is out there chasing investment opportunities. In fact, one problem that some investment like wealth managers have is they don't even know what to do with their clients' money. There's just actually not a lot of really great investment opportunities out there, especially if people want to invest in things they care about. They don't like the Wall Street casino roller coaster. So think about all those trillions of dollars out there owned by people that are not super happy with what it's doing right now. And all you need to do is access a tiny, tiny percentage of that abundance of investment capital that's out there. So that's number two, just something to remind yourself that there's a lot of money out there and you don't need a huge percentage of it. So, number three, what I would recommend is getting to know some examples of businesses that have raised money that you can kind of imagine. If they did it, I could do it too. That's actually what got me to be able to raise money myself. Because when I first started out doing this work, I had all these beliefs like I could never raise money. Yeah, I have some clients that I could help them raise money, but I could never raise money. Why would anyone ever invest in me? But I saw some of my clients offering investment opportunities that, while very compelling in the sense that they were doing great things in the world, they were relatively high risk. They weren't paying really high returns. No one was going to get super rich off of these investments. And yet my clients were able to raise hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. And I saw it happen over and over and over. And that's when I really, really started to believe, oh my gosh, this is possible. If they can do it, I can do it. So I can share lots of examples. If you go on my website, I have all kinds of stories and examples, webinars I've done where I share examples. So um, try to become familiar with some examples that are going to make you realize what is possible, because your image of the kind of business that's actually able to raise hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars may be something that you feel like, well, I'll never be that. But believe me, there's lots of businesses out there that were, in a really tough spot when it comes to like meeting the requirements that you would think need to be met to be able to raise money, and yet they were still able to do it. And I believe the reason was that they were just so passionate and committed to what they were trying to achieve. And they were able to find those folks out there, regular folks, non-professional investors, of whom there are millions and millions. So there's a lot of them out there. They were able to find people that were like, yeah, I'll invest. What the heck? I know it's not a sure thing, but I love what you're doing and I want to support it. So those are three things to think about when working on your mindset. And mindset, I would say, is a good first step to going out and raising money, because the next steps can be challenging if you don't have that belief. I can do this. There's tons of money out there. There's people out there that are looking for me. So that's just a tiny, tiny little piece of my 9-step process for going out and talking to investors and getting them to say yes. So, assuming you can get yourself into the right mindset, and you don't just do it once and walk away. You have to work on mindset, I'd say, pretty much every day. But once you kind of have the mindset thing going, then another step would be to think about who to target. And if you would like help with raising money for your business, just go to www.capitalonyourterms.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week, same time, same place. Have a great rest of your week.